Hello everyone, welcome to our session about roles at your entities and projects. Today we would like to explain you the importance of the correct assignment of roles at entity level as well as the project level. Let me quickly start my presentation and share my screen with all of you. Let's see the content for a second. So I will shortly explain you my EIT Food portal. And then we will dive into the details about the roles at both entity level and project level. Then we will see the roles at the portal, how to see them, who can see and who can change what. And then I will quickly explain you some of the frequently asked questions that we see and what are our answers to those questions. So to start with, as you are already familiar, we are using our My IT Food portal, which is our grants and project management portal, and that is supported by Salesforce. Time to time, you might be hearing the word Salesforce, but in any case, that means the portal that we are using, which is My EIT Food portal. So this tool provides a central platform to review and apply to open calls, to track your progress about the applications you have already applied to the calls, to manage your active participations, to work on the grants management, as we have been going through several of these in the last months, and keep your contacts at entity or project level up to date. So a quick note here, you can log into the portal via the link that you see, and you will use your username and password. If you have any issues about these, you can always reach us. We will be closely working with our IT colleagues, and we will make sure that your access problem is solved quickly. And if you don't remember your password, you can always reset it by clicking Forgot Your Password. The roles at entity level. So the first role I would like to introduce you is a master contact. Each entity can have only one master contact. And principal contact for EIT Food is the master contact. This person is responsible from the communication and information flow between your entity and EIT Food, as well as having a responsibility from the accuracy of the data that is added to the system. What we mean? In any case, if you realize as master contact that there is someone who left your entity or the project, you are the ones need to raise hand and let us know who has left and who has to be replaced by this person. So please make sure at any time when there is a change at your entity contacts, reach us. Once we change your entity contacts at entity level, we will make sure that the correct people are assigned to the projects that you're involved in. So you are the ones that will start this whole process of changing contacts. That's why please always make sure that you are aware of these changes at your entity level and you are reflecting these at the portal. So you as master contact are responsible for all relationship and contractual issues between entity and EIT Food. So you will always have the overall information or the view regarding any topic that is between your entity and EIT Food. The second role that I would like to introduce you is a finance contact. Each entity can have one finance contact. So this person is the principal contact for the entity for financial issues or tasks. These tasks are always defined clearly at every grant cycle period. To give an example, if we are in an amendment period where some budget changes have been introduced by activity leader, the person who will be checking these and approving these for your entity is your finance contact. So you need to make sure that correct person is assigned as finance contact, because finance contact is an active role in many periods like amendment or reporting. So please make sure correct person is assigned, and if any person has to be changed, let us know and we will be there to help you as always. Third role is signing contact. This person, again, is only one person for each entity and who is responsible for signing of the contracts. So any contract that has to be signed by your entity goes to signing contact. Please, as master contacts, make sure that signing contact is in the tool. So your entity has one already, which will speed up the contracting purposes. The fourth role is legal contact. Again, each entity can have one legal contact, and this person is the main contact for any legal queries from EIT Food. Here are some important notes that I would like to remind. We strongly recommend that entities assign different people to different roles. What we mean, we prefer a master contact is person A and finance contact is person B. However, the tool allows one person to have more than one roles, and if needed, all roles can be assigned to one person. However, if it's possible and feasible, we always recommend to have separate people dedicated to separate roles. Each person with an account in the portal, that is called users, must have a different mail address in the system. Same mail address cannot be used by more than one person. If there is a bug, and this has been the case, then for sure another technical problem will pop up in the coming days when we are in a grand cycle period like reporting. So please make sure each person who has an account in the portal is having a personalized mail address, different than any other user in your entity. And please avoid using generic mail addresses. So for instance, if you have some info at abcfinance.eu, please avoid using this generic email address, which we know can be used by more than one person, but then this for sure creates technical issues in the coming days, although the system may let you in with these generic mail addresses. So please try to avoid. Roles at project level. So the part that we discussed are the roles at your entity level. So as an entity, you are in a consortium, you have other consortium members, and then you have a project selected, and then there are some roles that have to be added, that have to be described for your project. First one is project monitor. The previous name we used to call this was program manager or functional program manager. So all three are meaning same, project monitor. This person is assigned to the project by EIT Food, and that's why working at EIT Food as a project monitor. Each project has only one project monitor. If you see more than one assigned to your project, that might be a mistake, or that might be one person who has already been deactivated. So make sure you also check your project and there is only one active project monitor for your project. This person is principal point of contact for participants regarding the project, KPIs, implementation. So any question that you may have about your projects, you can always reach them, as this person supervises and closely monitors the activity in contact with the activity leader of the project. Having said that, who is an activity leader? This person is selected by the consortium. So as you know, we have consortium members in your consortia, and then there is a leading entity, a leader. And this person, who is an activity leader, needs to be from this leading entity in your consortium. Activity leader is responsible for project implementation, for submission of all project changes, including project amendment process. This can be a budget change, a KPI change request, or deliverable output, or timeline. So anything about your project which needs a change has to be submitted by the activity leader. This person is responsible for performance reporting. And when the time comes for reporting or amendment, we will have further recordings and webinars where we will be describing the details about the tasks. But for now, we know that activity leader is the only responsible person for the project itself. And liaison with EIT Food for monitoring as well. Another role that can be added to your project is activity contributor role. So a master contact and finance contact of each entity are always involved in the projects. One reason is for them to have the correct rights to view and act on any pending tasks. The other reason is for them to make sure the flow is correct and the people who are involved in the project are accurate. However, for some entities, we recognize that more people, apart from their master contact and finance contact, may need to reach these projects without edit rights. So activity contributor role is a role, if needed, can be used by any entity. So an entity may say, I need more people to see the project, and then we would ask the master contact or the activity leader of the project to reach us and give us the name, surname, and mail address of the person who needs to be added as the activity contributor. Activity contributors have no editing rights, but they can view the project. So please, if you have other members of your consortium who are neither master contact nor finance contact of the involved entities, but have to see the project, reach us, and we will be able to help you to assign the correct role in the project so they can see the project details. Coming to the next slide, which is about how we can see the roles at My EIT Food portal. Anyone who is a user, which means they can log in to the platform, can edit only their own contact details. How you do it? You log into the platform, you select My Contact Information tab, then you make the necessary changes under Details tab by using the Edit button, and then you save. If you are a master contact, you can see all contact information at the entity, but you will not be able to edit the contact details. Now, I would like to quickly walk you through some of the questions that we usually receive and how we can help you with those questions. How can we change the activity leader of the project if, let's say, person has changed a role or left the company? You can reach us and you need to copy your PM in your email and we will be able to help you. How can we change any role at entity level? So let's say you are a master contact or you're a colleague of a master contact and you know there needs to be a new finance contact for the entity. You can reach us again. You need to describe the situation and you need to copy the master contact because we would like to ask for master contact's approval while changing the roles at entity level. Maybe you are already aware that as master contact, for this moment, you have the chance to change some of these roles yourself in the tool. However, as we recognize, there are some still going on confusion about the roles. We prefer to help you to speed up the process and to make sure it is easy and quick. Another typical question that we receive, let's say there is an activity leader who will be out of office for a while. Can we assign a temporary activity leader until this person is is back to the office? Yes, we can. That new person will have the rights and responsibilities of an activity leader. And again, you need to reach us with this request and the reasoning behind, and please copy your PM in the loop. Let's say you are a master contact, how you can see the roles at your entity. As a master contact, you again need to log in to the system, to your account at My EIT Food portal. You select My Organization, and then you go to Related tab. There you will see the list. If you recognize any person needs an update, a change, please again reach us. We will be happy to help you. First, we will change the people at entity level, and then we will check if anything has to be changed at project level. So it will be a smooth process for you when the time comes for any approval process at any stage of grant cycle periods. Is there any video or guideline for users, especially master contacts, to see the basics of the portal? Yes, we have. So here in the answer, you may find the links both to our Hive group or the playlist on YouTube. Please also visit that video, as that will be helpful for you to see how you navigate in the portal. If you are no longer working for a project and you have received emails, you usually ask us to remove you from the contact list. So to explain you, the accuracy of the data is handled by the master contact of each entity, as I explained before. So if a master contact didn't reach us and left a colleague who is no longer working for that project in the entity roles, then for sure that wrong person receives the emails. So what we really need is master contact to be on top of this contact list and make sure she or he reaches us whenever there is a need to change. Once the system data is updated, you won't be able to receiving the mails because the contact list is an extract from the system. And if system is up to date, then the contact list will be up to date. Another question is about someone who have no roles at entity, but still would like to be in the contact list for grant cycle related information. Unfortunately, that is not possible because, as a similar answer to the previous one, we have a system where the data is embedded, and what we do when we try to send any communication is we extract the contact list. That means if we need to send an email to activity leaders, we extract the activity leaders. Likewise, master contacts. So if you are not in the system with one of these roles who have to receive these kind of emails, then it's really not possible to copy you in the emails. However, we always remind receivers to share the mails with the rest of the team. And we always have these information updates on our Hive platform. And here we have the link in case you are not a part of it yet. And the final question, I am an activity leader. How can I know my duties in each grant cycle period? So before we launch these periods, we reach out to all participants who have a role in the grant cycle. So if you are a finance contact and activity leader, for sure you have been contacted for amendments. Why? Because activity leader is the one who adds the amendment requests. If it's about budget, it has to be the finance contact who needs to check and approve them. That's why these roles play critical importance in the flow, and that's why we reach them. Master contacts are usually copied in these emails just to make sure that they are aware of what is going on. And again, another request that we may have from them is to make sure that if a colleague needs to be reached out, apart from these roles, they are the ones helping us to distribute these news or updates to people who need them. Therefore, whenever there is a grant cycle period, we will for sure reach whoever has a role in the grant cycle periods. And if you have any questions still, as always, you can reach our participants' mailbox. So to remind you, if you have any technical questions or issues related to some technical points, you can always reach our support team. And if you have any grants management questions, you can always reach us via participants@eitfood.eu. Thank you for sharing and watching this video. Have a good day.